I want to share a love story. Not a clean one, not a simple one. The kind that stretches across decades, bends with the country, and keeps finding its way back to the same two people, even when life tries to pull them apart. When Eleanor Wright came home from the hospital, she went straight to bed. 3 days earlier, surgeons had removed a mass from her abdomen. The doctors didn't soften the truth. The cancer was aggressive. Even with treatment, they spoke in years, not decades. She had lost so much weight that the gold band on her finger slipped off sometime during the night. It rolled under the bed and disappeared. She noticed, but didn't have the strength to reach for it. That afternoon, her husband arrived home carrying news he had waited years to deliver. His name was Michael Reed. He was a writer, the kind who had tasted just enough success to keep believing more was coming. 2 novels, a long non-fiction book about a legendary rock group. Now, finally, a steady job, a real one, a position at a major literary review, health insurance, stability, a future that suddenly felt solid. He leaned over the bed to kiss her, took her hand, noticed the missing ring. "Already planning your escape?" he joked softly. "Right when I finally got a paycheck and benefits?" She smiled weakly and told him the truth. The ring had slipped off. It was somewhere under the bed. "Well, that won't do," he said, already bending down to retrieve it. He never stood back up. A massive stroke ended his life there, on the bedroom floor, reaching into the dark for something small and symbolic. Eleanor was still alive. Michael was not. It was winter. He was 54. Illness and grief collided. Eleanor could barely sit up. Bills piled up. Paperwork became impossible. The life they had built unraveled overnight. A former student stepped in, organizing documents, making calls, trying to keep everything from collapsing. She called more than 100 people, old friends, former colleagues, people from different chapters of Eleanor's life. When she reached me, it was spring. She told me what had happened and asked if I could help. I said yes without hesitation. I also told her something I had never said out loud before. I had loved Eleanor since the early 70s. Back then, she wasn't Eleanor. She was called June. We met during a warm afternoon at a crowded house near a college campus in North Carolina. The country was restless. So were we. She sat close to one of my friends on a worn couch, her hand resting casually on his knee. She wore confidence the way other people wore jewelry. I noticed her immediately. She had long, dark hair parted cleanly down the center, leather skirt, bare feet. She looked like someone who belonged to the moment completely. I made a comment about her boots. She laughed. That was enough to keep me orbiting. That spring, we drifted through the usual scenes, sporting events we barely cared about, art shows that felt radical at the time, late-night films, loud music, and small bars filled with posters demanding revolution, pasted up by kids whose parents paid their tuition. We talked about politics, music, the future. None of us really knew what we believed yet. We were trying ideas on like clothes, discarding what didn't fit. June graduated early and moved north with friends, took a job working with young women who had already learned life wasn't gentle. She wrote me once, then less often, then not at all. I moved too, though without direction. I drifted through small newspapers, smaller towns, and a series of poor decisions. I got fired more than once, sometimes for reasons I deserved, sometimes for reasons I didn't. I drank too much. I burned bridges I later wished I hadn't.
By the mid-70s, I landed in Washington, living in borrowed rooms and chasing jobs I wasn't qualified for. The city was buzzing. Scandal, power, the collapse of trust and leaders. Everyone felt like history was happening just outside the door. I found work far from politics. Underground, literally. Construction, union labor, Long days in tunnels, bruised hands, loud nights afterward. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid. At a party filled with familiar faces from our college days, I saw her again. June. Older, sharper, still unmistakable. We talked like no time had passed. Had dinner once, then again. She mentioned she was seeing someone. I pretended not to care. The city was obsessed with downfall back then. Presidents falling, careers ending overnight. Everyone wanted justice or spectacle or both. I was more interested in the strange side stories, the hypocrisy, the men who preached virtue and collapsed in public scandal. June moved easily through that world. She knew reporters, editors, people who stayed out late and talked too loudly about changing the country. Eventually, our paths drifted apart again. Not dramatically, just life doing what it does. Years passed. She became Eleanor, married Michael, built a life that looked stable from the outside. I built something quieter, less defined. We checked in occasionally, holiday cards, news passed through other people. I loved her from a distance, not in a way that demanded anything, just a steady truth I carried. When Michael died and the call came, the distance collapsed. I visited Eleanor, sat beside the bed where everything had changed, helped where I could, talked about the past, about the strange way lives loop back on themselves. America had changed around us. The optimism had worn thin. The slogans had faded. The country had grown older, heavier, more complicated. So had we. She didn't ask for love. She didn't need it. She needed presence, memory, someone who remembered who she had been before life hardened. I stayed, not as a replacement, not as a solution, just as someone who had loved her across time. Some stories don't resolve neatly. They don't end with reunions or promises. They end with honesty, with recognition. And sometimes that's enough.